Hi, on the Woodpecker today, I'm making some drawer organizers. Maybe you remember that 4 months ago, when I built my mitre station, I said, now comes the most difficult thing to do. Filling up all the new storage space. I wasn't kidding. Even today, all my drawers are mostly empty. I think their depth is too high, so I will make some separators. And Phillips wants to see how I film a Woodpecker episode. We start by ripping plywood strips for the side of the separators. Then I tape them together and make 2 dados for the separators. Next I cut them to the right height. And the right length. We cut more strips for the separators. I measure their length and cut them. That's when I noticed that my dados are too small. So I widened them with my edge plane. But I don't understand why. I had checked the width with a test piece. It's only when I rechecked it that I find my mistake. Now I understand. So while Philip widens the dados, I cut the separators. Then I can check if they fit. Now we can rip more strips for the removable trays. When all the finger joints are cut, I make a dry fit to check everything. Just in case. Now that I know that everything is okay, I can cut the separators dados. And I can glue the trays. Before tightening the clamps, I make sure that they're square and leave them aside to dry for several hours. Then I make a rabbet around the bottom of the trays. You might have seen earlier that I goofed up over my first dado, and now I have a hole. I was more careful for the other ones, but now I end up having to remove some wood to make the sides straight. Now we have to make all the corners square. Then I can cut the tray's bottom. But before gluing them in place, I sand the interior of all the trays. Then it's as simple as spreading glue, Put the bottom in place. And clamp it. Here they are. I leave them to dry like that so the glue won't drip inside. When the glue is dry, I can work on the interior divisions. I start by cutting them to size. Then I simply glue them in place. Next, I fill my mistake with epoxy putty. When the epoxy is hard, I sand the exterior of the trays, being extra careful not to sand through the first layer of veneer. I make all the corners even with the end plane. Now I can spray the first coat of finish. The separators are not glued or nailed. They are held in place by friction fit. I keep them like that while I spray them. While the varnish is drying, I take a look at my tool chest. Since I moved in here, it's been full of hammers, pliers, and screwdrivers. So while the varnish dries, I decide to build a screwdriver holder. I start by ripping more strips from the same plywood sheet. I mark the screwdriver's placement and drill their holes. When I'm done, I sand away the pencil marks. I glue the back of the holder and leave that to dry. Now I can spray the second coat. In the evening, I brush 2 coats of varnish on the holder. The next morning, everything is dry and I can put everything in their proper location. I just have to fill the drawers with the stuff I removed from them, and I finally have the opportunity to put all my screws in the same place. I was fed up with having them all over the place. Then I can empty my tool chest and put the screwdriver holder in place. Finally, my drawers are now full. I'm glad I'll have everything I frequently use at my fingertips. So, see you soon for another episode of the Woodpecker.